Hello, my lovelies. We are back in beautiful Coeur de Lis. We have one clear target today. Produce the 50 tools needed to improve our trade route with Trotbury. But while the blacksmith works, we have another big decision to make. Housing is under pressure, and our next supply chain needs to fit in an itty-bitty living space. So, can we complete the Trotbury trade improvement? And what should our village produce next? Let's find out. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to this episode. We left with the blacksmith up and running, and we have some tools growing in our storage. Yay, we're on our way to improving trade with Trotbury. That's great news, and yeah, I can't wait. So now I'm looking around at the next stage of what we need to bring into our village. So we had, as you know, the supply chain for the tools, and it's really a really good example of how this game works, and I do love it. And then sometimes I obviously do my oopsies. Do you remember the scandal from the last episode? Oh my goodness, not having space set up to receive in the warehouse. Not good. Oopsie doodle. But hey, you know, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. That's okay. And so now that we have tools supply growing, start to look ahead and plan ahead for what comes next. And we have refined food, which is great because that is, you know, a villager happiness thing. I know we have a housing space shortage, and that's impacting our happiness level, and taxes are high, and we can adjust all that. And we'll look at village happiness like on an ongoing basis. But as the ruler of Coeur de Lis, it's important to make some good decisions. And one of the things I'm looking ahead to is, what do we offer next in terms of a supply chain? You know, where are we taking our village? What are we going to be when we grow up? So if I'm looking at the progression menu, I have some options. In the common path, we have clothing, and we also have farming. So that's definitely on my radar because we've unlocked quite a few of these other capabilities in common tier, and we'll look at labor, kingdom, clergy separately. So that might be in the next episode. We'll see how far we get today. Well, one thing I've noticed is our coins, which are currently 407, and we only have a coffer space of 500. So we're not doing too badly, but if we start getting more trade and getting more coins, and we're going to run out of space. So we need to look at expanding the treasury, which is part of the labor tier. So that's important. But for now, I need to make a decision on what are we going to build next. So whether it's a refined food or whether it's goods, clothing or bread, we need space, because the clothing supply chain is a sheep farm and a weaver and a tailor, and the bread is a farm and a windmill and a bakery that also needs a well for water. So the sheep farm tends to take more space. At least that's my experience in this game. So looking at the territory that we have, I'm not gonna put a farm here, because I want some residential so we can deal with this housing need from our villagers. They need a place to live, let's be clear. And this is obviously not going to work. And the other thing is, on the island, we've virtually taken over with residences already. I know we do have the the stone deposit, the stonemason hut, which I may or may not keep once we start moving our resource into other areas as we expand our territories. So let's have a look at some of the territory that we could purchase. So this one, in my opinion, not great, because that would mean clearing all these trees, and I don't want to just clear them and say, oh, resource removal, without having a need for that, whether we have lumber, sawmill, charcoal hut, you know, some use. So I'm not a big fan of just clearing out the trees because we need the land. This is looking more promising as an area, leaning a bit towards this, although I'm not really liking this big set of rocks. I may need to move those or clear those out. And then the other thing we could do is go across to the other side of the island, build a bridge, which will take time. Yeah, so I think, and this is trees again, the best option, in my opinion, is to spend 100 coins and purchase this territory. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, next is this yonking big pile of rocks. I think we should remove this resource. So yeah, I don't really like doing that, just taking something and not using the material for a purpose, but it's not really stone, right? No, it shouldn't be. So if I look at resource production and say a stone cutter camp, it's not like lighting up as a place to cut stone. You see how it shows up here as this little emblem. So it's not recoverable material. It's just in the way. So if we just go and do a resource removal, I'll just hit that here. Well, is it even going to let me do that? Goodness me. No, I don't want the tree removed. So I'll unclick that. No, I guess, well, let's build something. Maybe building something will take it away. Let's have a look. Oh, first of all, I'm going to do the wheat farm. I think I made that clear, right? In terms of space. Now we have the wheat farm. So we could just plonk it here. Can we handle that? Can we go right on the rock? It's not telling me that I can't. Gosh, let's just build that there. Ha! Good rock removal. Sorry, it was a waste of a resource. We could have used that. Okay, next is the windmill, which, remember with the farm, there's going to be fields. So I'm making room for fields, and I'm going to pop the windmill nearby. So I'll pop that there. And it doesn't matter what the orientation is for the windmill in terms of its sail. There's not like wind direction that you have to take into account. That is true in some other games, but this is not the case in this game. So it's a matter of prettiness, I guess. That's the way I look at it. So I think I'll just put that right there and build that. And then we need the bakery. So I don't want to put it, you know, in the back here because there will be another granary depot. I don't really want to put it on the path. I don't want the fields space encroached upon. So I'm going to tuck it back here. So it'll create a little environment, you know, like come to the windmill, there's the bakery, pop the bread out of the bakery and dump it straight into the granary. Kind of cool. And then we are going to need, trust me, we are going to need the well. So put a well over here, ready for all of that, and build that. So we are paused. Let's unpause the game and let's speed things up. And yes, we can invite some people into the community. And we have a yay, we have a surplus of food. That's lovely. And yeah, we like people to be well fed. Very well. Okay, and we have our trader from, this is Trotbury, isn't it? Or Northbury. We'll see what comes up. Yes, we know housing is insufficient. We'll sort you out in a second. We just need to wait for this farm to build. But in the meantime, let's assign farmers. And we'll put 3 people here. And by the way, if I were to just have one farmer, and then eventually I'm going to paint the, see it says here, missing a zone. So we're missing the wheat farm pasture field. So we'll need to paint that on once it's built. And if we only have one farmer, then you don't want a huge field. It won't let you. It'll say the field it's too large. Then if you don't put a field size large enough, it'll say it's too small, or it's Goldilocks. It's a perfect size for the number of farmers. So I really want 3 farmers, and here we go. Let's paint this crop field. Now the red is telling us that we can't really put a field there. It's not going to grow. So I think what I'm going to do first, I'm going to fix this. Sorry, I'm going to paint and resource remove those trees. I know, I'm going against what I said earlier. But these are, you know, these decisions that that we need to make. So that's going to get resource removed. And when those trees are gone, someone will come and chop them down, and then we'll have enough room for, there they go, chopping it down. Then we'll be able to paint the field, which will all be good times. So windmill, we can assign a couple of people. We have 5 that are looking for work, so we'll put a couple of millers in there. Yep, we are the millers. Good film, by the way, if you haven't seen that. And we do have another citizen arriving. Yes, please come to our village center, which we moved in the last episode. There we go. And so I'm going to come back. You see our tools have gone down. That's because we're building buildings. And we want 50. So I'm going to come back when we've got the buildings set up. I'll paint the field with you so you can see how that works. And hopefully our tool supply. I do see our iron, you know, is missing in that supply chain. So we might need another smelter, which might mean that it's missing raw materials. Thanks for popping up. Which might mean that we need another iron mining camp. So we'll deal with that in a few minutes. So just let's let the game run. Okay, so coming back, we have the tool supply looks good. We now have 30 tools. We've built the farm, the bakery, and the windmill. So let's get back into this bread supply chain. So we have 3 farmers. We need to paint the crop field. The trees have been removed, and we can change the size of the painter. I'm just using I have a PC, so I'm just using my control key and then my mouse wheel to change the size of the painter. So I'm just going to put the crop field. So you see it's too small for the number of farmers, but we have some space over here, so we'll just build that out. And now it's too large, so I'm just going to use my right mouse button to just trim that back and trim it off the path as well. So that's good. They'll start planting that crop. Close that down. And then we need, we've got the millers. I love saying that. And then we need some bakers. So we have a couple of people that we're going to assign to that bakery. And then we will need a market stall for selling the bread. So I don't really want to put the, I'll invite you. I don't really want to build another market over on this side. In fact, I'm kind of contemplating whether these should move, but those villagers over here do need access to the goods. So we have berries, obviously, we have fish, and we have meat. But what we'll find in this game is we need to centralize the markets around where people live. Otherwise they're unhappy because they have a lot of travel to go shopping. So we'll create another market area on this side of the island. Sorry, on this territory, this across from the island. Yeah, so actually I will put a market here. So let's do that. And we'll build a food stall for the bread. We'll just zoom in. Click on you, scoot you around. Give you a... Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just give you a green tent. Build that. And then when that's done, we'll put bread over here and we'll have a market tender. So there we go. Okay, the bakery is complaining that we have missing resources, raw materials. We are missing flour. And for that, we need the windmill to produce the flour, which is also missing resources, which is the wheat. So we are missing the wheat. Why are we missing the wheat? Why haven't you planted that? So it says it's working fine. So where are you? Waiting for work? We're not pausing production. Farm state harvesting. Indeed. Okay, well, we'll just let the game sort itself out. Okay, we're at 42 tools, so we are getting so much closer for our Trotbury trade improvement, and we'll invite a couple of more villagers. Yes, please. We just need 8 more tools. Our coin tendency is looking good. 23. We've got 162, so we have room in our treasury. No need to panic and expand our treasure chest. So the wheat farm, I really don't know what you're doing. Is it because we have triggered something bizarre in the game mechanics by not connecting the field? I don't know. Okay, so we'll have to come back to that. Be patient, Nana. And let's see what else is going on. Anything we have? Oh yes, our market. Tender for bread. And so we don't have another scandal like we did in the last episode. Let's make sure that we are assigning bread into the granary so that we can ultimately trade it. But we're not going to trade it until we start building up a supply, so that needs to wait. We're at 45 tools. There's not really much else we can do. It's just let the game run until we get enough tools to do the Trotbury trade improvement. We are almost there. One more tool. And welcome you, citizen. And let's see. Let's have this tick over to 50. I am not going to create any more buildings until we have enough tools to finish our Trotbury mission. So there we go. Let's do this. We can't afford the upfront cost, but we have 50 tools. There we go. And go. Yay! We did it. So we just need to wait for that to take effect. And what that means, just pop open the royal book. So for Trotbury, we're at level 1, and the trade level is at 38 volume. So that's the maximum number of items that can be traded at on a given visit by a trader. So this will increase. So that means at level 2, I think it doubles. It goes up to 72 or 6. We'll see when it levels up. And so yeah, we can buy and sell, and the number of items will increase. So from a selling perspective, we will get more trade coming in, and we all know what that means is that we could then reduce taxation. And okay, while we were waiting for the tools supply Oh, yay. What is this? Our first bakery. Oh yes, a delicious aroma. Have you walked into a bakery in the last few days or weeks or months and smelt that fresh bread or pastries? Very yummy. I used to work in a bakery when I was in my younger years, when I was in high school. Very fun times, but then you don't smell the baked goods after you've been in that environment for a while. You get nose blind to it, unfortunately. But people would come in often and say, oh my goodness, it smells so good in here. And I agree, it does. I can almost smell it now. So cute little bakery, look at you. I just love that. There's the clay oven. Very yummy. Yes, anyway, so the wheat farm did sort itself out. So we have fields, we have crops being harvested. Obviously, we have the mill working. They've managed to take some wheat and grind it, and then the flour, and it's a good supply chain. I like it. And it doesn't take a lot of space. Now, while we're here, we've got 3 tools. I'm going to, for the last little bit of this episode, I'm going to do a few things. Welcome you. I'm going to create another depot for the warehouse and tuck it right here behind this other depot. I do like things lining up, so it looks good. So build that. That's going to take 2 tools. And then the same thing for the granary, and then we've maxed out the extra buildings. So we'll put that behind here, as I said we would. So we'll orient it there. We have no impedance. No villager cannot reach your destination issues there. And then I can paint a residential area, and houses will go up around here. So we'll let people live right up to the road, right around the warehouse and the granary. Very good. It's not enough. I know it's not enough because the housing situation isn't great for people. So let's see what else. Oh, let's check you out. What are you? Wood for the elders. We could get some coins. 225, which doesn't put us over 500. Accumulate 100 inside of a storage, and we have 73. Do you know what? I'm not going to do that this time. We actually don't need the coins at the minute, and this will pop up again, so we don't have to have a scarcity mentality. You know, we live in an abundant environment. So yeah, I think the next episode will be set up for growing a few more of these supply chains and figuring out what we want to be when we grow up. And what I mean by that is, where are we going to start building out our next levels? So we have labor, kingdom, or clergy. And it's always a good idea to specialize. Okay, take care. See you in the next video, and thank you for watching.